Apparently, I'm on the internet. Who would have thought that one day I would be on the internet? I guess that's what you do now. You go on the internet. It's the way things are. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be starting this new arc of our Lord of the Rings saga that's been going on. The Headless Cross. This one is titled The Headless Cross because, you know, it's the final arc. We're going to wrap it up, see what happens with it. It's been a long, strange trip, a lot of fun, a lot of different players, a lot of different characters, a lot of cool stuff happening. And I am 100% sure that that trend will continue here tonight and in the next few weeks. And in order to ensure that it does, I have gathered around once more, as is my habit, a bunch of amazing players, great fun people that I would absolutely love for you to meet right now. Look at these wonderful people surrounding me. Surrounding me, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Hey, everybody, how you doing? How's everybody doing?
So good. Pumped.
Nice. Pumped. Is that what the kids do today? Thank you so much for joining us here at Guild Superior. A couple of you have been here before. A couple of you are, for the first time, appearing here with us. Hopefully, you'll want to return. And I will do my best not to scare you off because you are wonderful people and we like wonderful people here. That's what we do. Before I keep on going, which I could do forever because, you know, I have the gift of gab, I would like to give my players a chance to tell you a little bit about themselves and who they are playing tonight. And I fervently believe in throwing people into the deep waters right off the bat. So let us begin with a brand new face here, but not someone that is brand new on the internet, someone with a lot of experience who's done a lot of great work. JT. What's up, JT?
Hello. I don't know about a lot of great, you know, it's been off and on. Hi.
Track record.
I have a good track record. I'll admit I'm pretty proud of it personally. But hi, I'm JT. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. You can also call me Jeet if that suits you better. Tonight I will be playing Cylon, our elven scholar, who's just an anxious little guy. And their pronouns are any. Take your pick.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, JT. Next up, someone who is good friends with JT, I hear tell. Also making their debut right here on Guild Superior tonight. I have named Blair. Hey, Blair, how you doing?
Hello. Hi, I'm Blair. I am underscore Canadian Moose all over the place, even though we found out really quickly I'm not from Canada. Sorry, everyone. I have to apologize. But yeah, I will be playing Arie, who is the elf champion, but is just baby, just 101, you know, just a little baby. And we'll see if she can do her job well. We'll find out. But yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. I see you also have an awesome Lord of the Rings shirt on. What does it say?
It says, oh, I just posted it in the thing and I forgot it because I don't want to mess it up because it's so good and I don't want to ruin it. Where's the chat? There it is. You are all welcome here. That's right.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was made by Don Marshall, the Lord of the Rings TikTok guy. And yeah.
That's fantastic. You know, would love that shirt. Erica, who was in the last series.
A
ginormous Lord of the Rings nerd and who kept schooling me on Lord of the Rings stuff. Who has tattoos of Lord of the Rings. Erica would love that shirt. But thank you so much, Blair, for being here with us. And even though you're not Canadian, nor are you a moose, very happy to have you here nonetheless. I myself am Canadian, so I'll make up for the Canadian content. For the moose, we'll just have to, you know, try harder next time. So thank you for being here. Next up, someone who has graced our screens before, but I've not had the opportunity to GM for before, though I've played with Annika. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. So
that's good.
Who are you tonight? What's happening?
Yeah, tonight I will be playing Jorah, daughter of Jorundir, a barding who does not want to be here. She just wants to be in her kitchen, cooking up and brewing up all kinds of wonderful, tasty, delicious things with the crazy ideas she comes up with. And this is what she's doing instead. So we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll cook up something. Who's your friend?
My friend behind me is
Yeah.
my dog Pico, and I'm hoping she's not going to be a disruption, but she's having a conversation with my neighbor dog. So
Is it a romance situation that's kind of brewing, or?
it's been off and on for a year. You know, they're both young and they're just trying to figure out what they mean to each other right now.
Wild at heart. I get it.
Yeah.
I was young too. Long time
Weren't
ago.
we all?
Very, very long time ago. Thanks for reminding me of how old I am. Thank you, Annika, for being here. I look forward to jamming and playing with you again tonight. And finally, speaking of being young, someone who is young at heart, young in body, young in mind, young in every way possible, but still a bundle of awesomeness. It is Kay. What's up, Kay?
Hello, what's up? I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to play. I'm excited to play with these folks, but also play my character, Falco Bunce Baggins. I haven't met Mr. Bilbo yet, but I will, and I'm going to tell him all about our adventures. If I survive, which I should be fine. I'm excited. We'll see if people can keep me in line. The other hobbits at the in the Shire could not. So I don't have high hopes for this group, but we'll see.
Did they kick you out of the Shire?
Almost. I almost came to that, but I did follow Silin. But we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. And as someone who we've played very often together, Kay and I, the fact that Kay's back here should give, everyone some hope that it's probably not going to be too terrible. So thank you very much, Kay, for once again playing one of my games. I always appreciate playing with you. Before we continue, a couple more little shout outs. I, of course, am Bleakseason. You can find me everywhere, especially here. And my producer, my right-hand man, the person who pushes all the right buttons, my friend Andy. Big round of applause for Andy. Love Andy around here. We were playing Lord of the Rings role-playing 5e by Free League Publishing. We are huge fans of Free League here. Their products are all excellent. This is a 5e port, if you will, of their One Ring game. It does fun stuff with the 5e rule set, and hopefully we'll get to show you some of that tonight. The music you're hearing and we'll be hearing throughout the night is by Tim at Tabletop Audio. Amazing library of sounds and musics, all for free if you want them. A couple of bucks at their Patreon gets you even more stuff. Amazing work. So check out Monsieur Tim at Tabletop Audio. I'll be using maps tonight by Animated Dungeon Maps. I always have to kind of try to remember which one of the two map makers that I love I'm using tonight. Tonight's Animated Dungeon Maps was provided one of the main maps we will use. I would like to remind you also that if you want to get involved in the game, help out the players, you can with a donation of bits. Gift the players advantages. So for 100 bits, you can gift the player of your choice an advantage. So if you feel like doing that, please go right ahead. Who are we? We are Guild Superior. We play games. We play a lot of games. We play a hell of a lot of games, and we play them all up here on the Twitch for y'all to witness. If you're interested, finding out more, our stuff's popping up in the chat right now. Do reach out, come and hang out in our Discord chat. We have the best coffee meme game in the industry. In fact, we basically invented the coffee meme. I don't want to brag. Maybe we didn't invent it, but we perfected it. The coffee meme. That is what we do. And with that, my friends, new friends, old friends, everybody else, shall we begin? You, my friends, are a group of adventurers, a fellowship. You are not, perhaps as might be expected, the grand heroes of this fellowship. You are squires of sort. Each of you has, through various adventures, come into the service of someone of grander stature, perhaps yourself of grander renown, and you are hanging out with them and helping them out in the hopes of learning something, in the hopes of getting some adventures, perhaps making a name for yourself. But this group of champions, of heroes, that sort of guide your fellowship of 8, essentially, at this point, are the ones who usually get called upon to do things. You go with them, you learn, everything's honky-dory. You find yourselves in Darwinian, recently having been hired to take care of some problems that the wine merchants in the area were having. If you take a look at our wonderful little map here, which is a map that Mr. Jared Tolkien himself made, then that was later on added to, you will find that we are in the Rune, somewhat south of the Iron Hills, a little bit southeast of Mirkwood, in this area over here, not too far from Mordor, but you know, what's Mordor these days? Everyone knows Sauron's gone, right? Right? Sauron. It's yesterday's news. After having done a little bit of work recently, you find yourselves enjoying a little bit of rest and relaxation in the city of Ardridge. In Darwinian. You have been here a few days now, enjoying the sights. The town of Ardridge is a trading town that's nestled in the heart of Darwinian. You find yourselves, every time you step into this place, transported to a place of rustic charm and bustling commerce. The scent of exotic spices and the rich aroma of ripe grapes from the nearby vineyards fill the air, drawing you into the vibrant tapestry of this thriving hamlet. The cobblestone streets wind their way through Ardridge, revealing a picturesque town that seems to have sprung directly from the pages of a folktale. Gabled houses with thatched roofs line the thoroughfares, their colorful shutters and quaint gardens adding a touch of whimsy. Wooden market stalls adorned with colorful awnings flank the streets, offering an array of goods from far and wide. The locals, a friendly and diverse bunch, go about their daily business with a smile and a nod to passerbys. Traders from distant lands haggle over spices, silks, and exotic fruits, their animated voices creating a symphony of languages. Darwinian's famed wines, renowned throughout Middle-earth, are prominently displayed in the market square, their bottles glistening like gems in the sunlight. You can't help but be captivated by the town's central hub, where a majestic fountain stands. Water flows from a carved grapevine, paying homage to the region's vineyards. In the distance, the imposing peaks of the Grey Mountains loom, their snow-capped summits providing a breathtaking backdrop to this tranquil trading town. Ardridge, in all its charming simplicity, beckons you to explore its markets, savor its flavors, and embrace the warmth of its people. You're basically in Kelowna, BC, I guess, is where you are. I don't know if you're in there, but there you are. My friends, today, the sun has risen. It's a beautiful morning. You have all come out of your lodgings, headed down into the market area. Looking for some breakfast, looking for some foods, looking for your friends perhaps to get some news as to what's going on. You're maybe starting to get a little antsy. You've been here for a while, and some of you perhaps would be interested in moving on or getting back on the trail. But how about you tell me exactly what it is that's going through your minds right now? Same order that we did before, perhaps. We'll start with JT. What is Silent up to at this particular juncture?
Silent is pretty used to their mentor and their friends being off doing what they need to do. And so Silent is just taking to strolling around the town with a book, reading and listening as they can, just waiting for the order to leave and get back on the trail, which they are very ready to do.
Mm-hmm. Are you the kind to distractedly bump into things as you walk around with your...
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
You've been in the village long enough now, I think, that people kind of know. So everywhere you're going, you see merchants and locals sort of kind of rush over and move something from in front of you, like a case of wine gets moved, a little barrel of something else gets moved. They've grown accustomed to you by this point after a couple of, let's just call them, unfortunate incidents. They've adapted to your presence and your wandering around. Blair, what are you up to?
I think probably out and about, maybe even looking for Cylon, just because she knows that they're just the only thing that they do, well, not the only thing, but what they do most often is read. And there's, you know, even though we've probably explored this town pretty extensively, like maybe there's something new. So she maybe doesn't know exactly where they are, but she would be searching town for either Cylon or something new, whatever she hits first.
Okay. And what is Jorah doing on a fine morning like this?
Well, Jorah and Falco are together as they are plotting to use this yeast that Jorah bought off a merchant in a different part of Dorwinion to make a special brew of Hefeweizen, which is another type of drink the area is known for. Not as much as grapes, but on our budget, we couldn't afford the grapes. So we're going with the beer, and wherever there's a space, because we're trying to be sneaky about it. So it's somewhere where we think we can get away with this without our friends knowing about it. But whether or not it's actually well hidden is a different story.
I will say in the western end of the village, there are a number of stables for horses and things like that. You might have been able to find yourself a little stall somewhere that was unoccupied and sort of rolled in your equipment in there, for perhaps you've done a little service for someone, or you've dropped a few coins or something, or you've offered, to leave some of your product sort of in exchange. So you find yourselves to be fairly well isolated. We'll return to you then in a second. Back in town, you hear Blair, your character will hear someone go, "Oh, he's coming, move that, no, move there, oh, I got it, let me help you, oh, okay, whew. Managed to save him this time." And when you look up, you see a little bit of a hubbub, and you see, completely oblivious to the drama that's sort of unfolding in their wake, Son walking through the market.
Ooh. I think she would probably. Has he noticed me yet?
I don't think Son has noticed anything since they got up this morning.
Oh, so okay. Then I think Arya is gonna try to duck into people and like sneak around to kind of like pop up behind them. Be like, reading again?
Cylon trips and falls. Cylon is just so startled by this.
Oh no, you weren't supposed to do that. And she'll help you up. She's not mean.
Oh, good gravy. Did you have to sneak up on me?
Well, if you weren't reading, then you wouldn't have fallen.
If I wasn't reading, I wouldn't be learning.
There are other ways to learn, of course. Like,
not that this town has to offer.
We couldn't have found everything. There has to be something else here that we haven't seen yet.
Do you see this town? It's maybe 500 feet across.
Well, maybe outside of town a little bit. I know we traveled kind of the outskirts, but maybe we could go a little bit further and see if there's something else.
Unless Willoughby asks me to, I'm not going anywhere outside those gates. Why, buddy?
You're probably right about that, but it's frustrating. I know we're supposed to listen, but at the same time, come on, just for a few minutes, like 10 minutes.
I don't find it as frustrating as you do.
To listen?
to follow orders or to wait. Now, if you read a book once in a while, perhaps you would find the time passes a little quicker.
I did plenty of that back at home. I don't need to read out here. Why would I need to read out here? It's unnecessary.
Because the books back home are not all the books in the world.
Seems like it. Have you ever been to a library in Rivendell? They're massive.
I've been to libraries all over the globe. There are journals.
There was a library in this town?
There's a library in this town. It might have a book you would have never seen in Rivendell in it. It might have a journal or a quest log or something exhilarating story-wise for you to read about.
I was trying to avoid that place.
The library?
Yes.
If you're so desperate to find something new, what good is it to you to avoid somewhere you haven't even been?
Well, if I know that I'm not going to like it, why would I go?
Because you are depriving yourself of the new thing you are trying to find.
Better idea. How about I race you to the front gate and back?
I'm not running.
A light jog. Fast
I'm
walk.
not jogging. I don't want to get sweat on my cloak.
Ugh. Okay, fine. What if I accompany you to the library and we look around for 2 minutes and then we do something else?
You are welcome to do something else as you please, Aria. I'm going to continue reading.
I worry about you. What if you miss something?
What is there to worry about? I haven't missed anything. I haven't bumped into a single thing today until you jumped me.
Congratulations. That's the first time.
It's not the first time.
Okay, maybe a few times you haven't, but you do bump into things a lot.
That's not my fault. There's just stuff in my way.
Like people
They could move.
and cats? That is a cute one. I guess cats like books. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I will come with you to the library
Go? Is that so hard to agree to?
because I'm bored.
So bored that you're actually going to read. How
I said
exciting.
nothing about reading.
You might like it. If you gave it a shot.
I have given it a shot.
No, you gave it a shot in an educational environment where you had to read. Have you tried doing it just for fun?
Not without wanting to throw up.
Well, let's give it a try, huh? All that new stuff might be in one of those books.
We'll see. We'll see when we get there.
Okay.
And she's going to walk behind just to see if she can anticipate if Silent's going to run into anybody.
Okay. No
It's
problem.
like Silent does go back to reading.
You manage to safely guide them towards the library, and we'll see what happens there in a moment. Meanwhile, back in stall number 3, something seems to be a little wrong. There's a weird odor that's coming from your still right now. Are you using a still? What is it? Tell me a little bit what you're doing. What's happening?
Yeah, so the contraption before the pair is definitely homemade, but with knowledgeable intent. So as much as there is knowledge about what is supposed to be happening, the materials available don't live up to those standards. So you'll hear Jorah as she puts among the different instruments, just kind of mildly swearing under her mouth, like, "Oh, if it was real glass, and if we had real," and just like lots of like real this and real that is getting tossed around. And then she turns to Falco and says, "Falco, do you have a good sense of smell?"
Falco has been smoking a pipe since we started this project. He's like stress smoking, so he's just chain smoking his pipe weed, I guess. And I smoke too much, obviously. But I can try. He'll put it out and try to sniff and like manhandle our little kit to see if I can figure out what's wrong.
It's definitely something a little off. Like when you put weed in your pipe that's just a little too, maybe humidity's gotten into it a little bit or something like that. So there's definitely like, it's fine. And then there's just like, kind of like you're listening to someone play the piano and everything is great. And then they hit that one key that's out of tune,
And then
so it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is going dong.
okay.
Doesn't smell right, does it?
No, definitely not.
And
I've never smelled something like this before. I
well,
think we've invented something new.
I don't know. Is it a new? Yeah, maybe it's just going to be a new awesome beer. How cool would that be?
Yeah. No, this is probably.
We'd be famous. We could sell it, and then we didn't have to follow around Aelfrith and the rest of them.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be good. Yeah.
You hear
Are
a
you
voice
good at
say,
selling?
sorry, you hear a voice say, did you remember to put sugar in it?
That's what it was. We couldn't decide between sugar and honey because we thought about making a mead for a second there,
And then we just didn't do any of it.
Right? Yeah.
Perfect.
You brought some good stuff from the Shire there. It gets very distracting.
Oh, thank you. And then I'll look to see who spoke to us.
You see Willoughby, the halfling messenger, who is generally the one that Silent is squiring, but currently Willoughby is sitting there on the top of the wall that separates your stall from the other stall and eating an apple and sort of just, swinging his legs and sort of looking down at you. Yeah, I'm thinking it's the sugar. It's kind of like there's just this, it's kind of missing. I think you need some sugar. What are you making anyway?
Well, besides the wine, this area is really well known for Hefeweizes, and I'm trying to perfect my recipe so I can send it home to my folks. As she picks up a bag of sugar and starts adding it wherever it needs to go.
Have you given some consideration to how you're going to carry this Hefeweizen with you, and how long does it take to mature?
Yeah, that's the best part. I made it so that it goes into these smaller contraptions, and you can see it somehow it can fold into itself into a rather handy little kit. But it's still a kit nonetheless. It's going to take a little bit of muscle to get it across Middle Earth.
And how long is it going to take before it's ready?
When it's ready, you can't rush these things.
Oh, excuse me. Well, let's hope that it's ready within the hour.
Why an hour?
Well, something's afoot. I don't know exactly what. Aelfrith wouldn't tell me exactly what was going on, but I do know that Aelfrith would like to see you, me, and everybody else at the inn within the hour. Apparently, we're heading somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds like Aelfrith.
So, try not to set fire to the stables or anything. And
that only happened one time.
It was a pretty bad, thankfully it was empty, but it was considerable damage.
Yeah, but I said I would come back and help them rebuild it.
When?
I don't know, whenever Aelfrith says I can do that.
Well, maybe you can ask her today. Maybe she'll be of a mood to let you go.
That would be nice, instead of carrying around, helping Aelfrith.
I've been meaning to ask you, actually, Jara, but how heavy is that kit? It seems to me like Aelfrith's got 3 of everything. Is that pretty much what's going on with that kit?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
All right. I got you. No worries. Did you see the other 2 this morning? I checked at the library earlier, but they weren't there. And then I followed my nose to you. Did you see either of them this morning, or am I on my own?
I think I saw Silent walking around earlier when I was getting my 3rd breakfast of the morning. But Usually they head right to the library. I don't know. They were kind of walking around the same couple
Oh,
houses.
did you try those little sausage pastries?
Oh yeah.
You had those? They're fantastic with that little like that big salt on them, and
Should we pick some up for the road?
Think we should
he
get
pats his
gravy
little
for it?
messenger pouch way ahead of you, way
Oh.
ahead of you.
All right.
All right. Well, actually, he reaches in, pulls one out, starts munching, flips one over to you. All right, I'm gonna try to find him. If you see them, tell them I'm looking for them, or at least tell them to show up. By the next bell over at the inn.
We'll meet you there. We'll have our kit ready to go.
No problem. He hops down, starts walking away. As he's walking around, goes, and if you explode, who should we notify?
Tell Mr. Bilbo in the Shire, please, please, please.
That you exploded in the stables.
Yes.
Well done. Will
Okay.
do.
Thank you.
Elfrith knows what I need.
No problem. Don't be late.
So should we finish this?
Yeah, well, I didn't know how to tell him this, but it's gonna have to sit like this for a while. So I'll just start packing it up, and you can see she's already been putting away the different mechanics and things, and I'll fold it up. She's able to take 2 straps and put it on her back, and every time she steps, there's a little tingling jingle like bottles and bits rubbing against each other as they clatter as she walks through the streets.
As you walk out of the barn, the old human from whom you rented the stall is outside, forking over some hay, and he sees you coming in. He leans on his pitchfork. You already all done? I thought you were going to be in there all day.
Duty calls, my friend.
I still get a share, though, right?
You know it. I even think you should help us name it.
Never named anything before. Well, or my 4 children, but my wife pretty much named them. And well, there was the dog, but my wife pretty much named that too. We had a cat at one point.
Yeah, and while he's doing this, Jorah's gonna turn to Falco and
Yeah, we.
Then of course there's my favorite scythe. Yeah, no, I didn't name that either. Come to think, I haven't really named. And as you're walking away, he's still wondering why he doesn't get to name anything. Poor feller. Meanwhile, over at the library, you've arrived at the Ardridge Library. You stand before it and marvel at the wooden plank that serves as a counter and the old lady sitting behind it and the stack of about 7 books that's on the little wooden log. Are you again?
Oh, no,
Haven't you
we're
read
not-
all of these already?
We're not here for me. She's looking for something new.
Oh, well, I do have the town council reports from the last 5 years. That's probably the newest thing I've got here. And she puts this thing over there. I had this manual here. That's pretty new. That's from like 73 years ago. This manual on handling goldskin grapes. So I got that here. That's pretty new, 73 years ago. Let's see, what else do I have? Town council reports from 50 years ago. That was not as new as the other one.
I can just look around. You don't have to trouble yourself.
Please, this is the most fun I've had in like months.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. We can talk if you'd like. Just about anything other than books?
We can?
Yeah.
Oh, that's novel. Usually people just come over here. Someone just dropped. Usually people just come over here when they want to read about the town council's decisions. I'm a little taken by surprise. I don't know. Oh, I'm not ready for this. Oh dear.
What if I ask you questions? Like fun questions.
She looks suspiciously at the word fun.
What?
You could try one of those.
Okay.
Kick it around, see how it feels.
What is your favorite food?
Oh, you know what I like? Mabel down there, that third stall from the not the one with the blue awning, but the one with the yellow awning. She makes these little pastries with sausages stuffed in them, and they got
Oh.
like this coarse salt all over them and like this honey glaze that just, and you'd think the salt and the honey and the sausage, that's kind of weird, but like when you like it all comes together inside the so soft, puffy, buttery pastry, it's
Wow,
the best.
that does sound good.
Have you tried them?
I haven't. I think one of our friends have though. So
Oh,
I have.
the little one with the feet and the pipe,
Oh yes,
Oh.
Falco, correct.
and the other one with the feet and the pipe.
Yes. I'm remembering names.
Willoughby.
Yes.
Oh, they're
She
there
said-
like 6 times a day. Mabel told me that she's had to double her production since those two moved in.
Oh wow, I guess that's good. That's a good
Well, it's
thing.
stimulating the local economy, which is always a good thing.
Wow, we didn't even expect to do that. Looking at
No,
Simon.
it's written right here, and she pulls the town report. It's like
Oh,
from last
wait.
week. It says,
that's a
two-
book. That's a book.
Yeah.
Remember, we weren't supposed to
yeah.
talk about books.
I'm sorry, I'm a librarian. It's kind of a professional deformity.
You might want to relay to the people of the town not to go too crazy with all the extra money that my mentor is spending on your food. Just economically speaking, having that much money pumped in all at once is not going to be good for you overall. And it's really more of like it should be taxed, but this town is so small that it's not. So I don't know if she's open to making like a donation to the town, maybe you guys could build like a new stable, or just put the money to use for everyone.
Looks
And-
over at Arye, leans in conspiratorially. Your friend is a bit of a nerd, isn't he?
Yes, I'm trying to get them to work themselves out of that phase.
Oh, good luck with that, honey.
I know.
It looks like you got your work cut out for you.
I do. I try every day, but
And I'm a librarian, and I'm saying that.
Sure, you are already multiple times more exciting. Don't let them hear that. But have you ever thought of doing something other than being a librarian?
I did.
What did you do?
I wanted to be a bookbinder.
Wow. Why didn't you?
The glue contact highs, it just wasn't good for me.
Oh.
I started doing weird things. My husband was like, Arlette, I barely, not Harlot, but Arlette. Arlette, I barely recognize you anymore.
Oh.
And come home high, my hair all over. I know, it's just.
What about
Strangest
anything
thing.
else? A dream, maybe?
I did once.
What was it?
Long forgotten. Sometimes I feel like I can touch it again. It's just there, beyond my reach, and she's kind of just rubbing your face, just beyond my reach. But
I
sometimes
don't.
we just have to get cozy with the idea that this is what real life is. This desk here and these reports from the council, and Mabel's shop over there, and the sounds of the water from the lake, and the wind whistling in, and the smell of grapes that are ripening on the vine. Like, that's what real life is, and that's what it is. You get cozy with that, and you know, you become a book librarian. You become a librarian.
I think Arya has a mixture of like so sad for this woman, but also fear behind her eyes, because that sounds like her worst nightmare ever. She's going to say, well, I think that our presence has given you a lot to think about. Cylon, this was fantastic. We should go. And she's just going to like pull on their arm and say, it was so nice to meet you. Have a great time with your books. They're lovely.
I'm sure you don't want the town council reports from the second page.
You really should read the town council reports from the second age. Very entertaining.
Y'all have said nothing to make me think that that's true. Goodbye. Goodbye.
As you rush away, Falco and Jar, you are coming, and you see your two friends heading out of the library, which I say heading out of the library, but it's really just a little stand. So they're really kind of just walking away from it more than they're really leaving it. And the two, you see Jorah and Falco approaching. Falco looks like he's been smoking way too much again. And Jorah's got some sort of weird contraption that makes noise on her back.
Oh my gosh. Thank goodness. Please tell me y'all have been doing something much better with your time than we have.
We weren't doing anything, were we?
Yeah, last I heard, we were looking at the sky.
Are you guys making bad booze?
What?
I would never make bad booze, okay?
It smells like you forgot the sugar.
God, that's what Willoughby said.
God damn it. I mean...
Oh, you saw him. Are we leaving soon? This town is dreadfully small. I have mapped it 3 times over.
Well, we're expected in about an hour, I believe. I don't remember what Willoughby said. What did Willoughby say?
I guess Aelfrith has a plan again. She did the plan thing.
Great.
That's good. That's good. Maybe. At least exciting. Did anyone say where we're going?
No, now that you think about it, we did not think to ask that.
It's okay. It's a surprise.
Probably somewhere dangerous.
Did you say hopefully somewhere dangerous?
Probably somewhere dangerous.
I heard hopefully. I was like, oh, Silent, let's go.
A very, very weird sentence coming from you.
Yeah, the 3 people begging him to do fun things are suddenly like,
you want to do something fun. Yeah. Regardless, I think it's great to be getting out of this town. Have you all talked to any of the locals? They can be a bit different.
yeah, the list guy. Have you met the list guy?
The list guy.
Yeah, he just starts talking about all the things that he either has or hasn't done. He just lists them off.
No. Well, what about, have y'all talked to the librarian? She just pet my face for no reason.
I mean, it does look pretty soft.
Oh,
Yeah, what do you do for your skin?
I sleep directly under the moon every single night, and apparently it works. Moonlight, great for skin.
I look at Silent. How's Silent's skin? Is it also beautiful and smooth?
No. Silent's skin is tired. That's the best word I have for it.
Their skin
Island, I'd touch
is
your
100 years
skin.
older than they are.
Jorah reaches out,
I would prefer if you didn't.
but just once, it could feel nice.
I don't think that you'll like it. I won't like it for sure. I would prefer if you didn't.
Okay, but maybe later. That's what I heard.
Why? Why me?
It could be a learning opportunity.
Learning for who?
Who
Well,
knows?
for us.
That's not information you need.
Who are
Apparently
you to
you-
tell me?
You get to pick and choose what information is important for us to learn.
Regards to my skin, yes.
We all have skin, Silent.
And I
I mean,
hope
most
to never
of us
make
have
any
skin.
contact with yours.
Well,
Does
that's
everything
rude.
have skin?
And as Silence says that, you hear in the distance the tolling of the bell announcing the hour.
Uh-oh. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, we're late now.
Oh.
Now it's...
Late?
Oh no!
Why didn't you say anything?
Well, I forgot that an hour has already happened since we got the message.
Oh my god.
We have to run. Silent, we have to run. You have to run now.
Silence gone.
Not reading a book this time. You make all due haste towards the one and only inn in town. It's called the Wild Grape. As you arrive inside, push open the door. It's about midday, so there's like a fair amount of people having their lunch right now, most of them being merchants and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of merchant talk, people sitting around comparing wine and so on and so forth. One of the interesting aspects of people, and hey, Kian, thank you so much for the follow. One of the interesting aspects about the town is that the people here don't drink wine like during the day. During the day is for the business of making and selling wine. And then at night after dinner, that's when they allow themselves to enjoy. So everyone's sitting around drinking Hefeweizen, perhaps other types of drinks, but no one is drinking wine, which is usually is what people kind of find strange when they come here. You walk into the inn to find the other four members of your fellowship. That would be the elf scholar Teleron, the halfling messenger Willoughby, the dwarf treasure hunter Beryl, and the ranger of the North Warden Aelfrith, who is somewhat the leader of this group, are all sitting around the table with a man you've never met before. He's human, wearing a sort of robe of golden colors. His hair is black and kind of greasy looking and sort of pulled back in a bit of a ponytail. His face is rather flat with a very thin nose. The eyes kind of spread apart a little bit from each other. His skin is very pale, almost unhealthy looking. And as you look at this man, you kind of almost see what might become of Silence someday. That pallor and that kind of, this is obviously someone who doesn't go out, but he is dressed in the manner of the people of Rohan. As you approach the table, you find your friends poring over a map of the area. You see the river running, which goes up north. You see Mirkwood, and they're talking variously and pointing to things. And eventually, Aelfrith will sort of notice that you're there and see you go, "Oh, finally, you join us. Please come around the table." As you gather around the table, Aelfrith will say, "This is Grima. He is an advisor to Theoden King. He has been sent here to speak to us on the part of Saruman the White of the Council." Grima says, "Yes, very happy to meet you all. May we continue? This is very important business." "Yes, please, Grima. Continue what you were saying. Now that everyone's here, we can really get into it." As you approach, Falco, Beryl sort of like elbows you in the ribs. "Where the hell were you?"
Me and Jorah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Jorah were making some I think it's a type of beer. I don't know. She keeps calling it something else. It's something. It didn't work out so well, but
Why do you smell like a horse stall?
because we were in one to make it.
Oh, makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, thanks.
And in
So-
the time it took to have that interaction, Jorah somehow procured ale for all the people that she knows would have ale for this meeting. So, like, traveling together, and then at the very end, she kind of looks at Grima like,
No, I don't indulge, but thank you very much.
more for me.
I've
Now
got
she's
my
got
tea
two.
here, and he
Good man.
this mug of foul-smelling looking tea that just looks completely disgusting, but he seems to be enjoying it. You were saying, GT?
I was good man. Doesn't drink.
Yes, I find that it severely reduces my ability to think logically.
I like where this is going. Have we got an actually decent job now?
Well, let me tell you about it. You can decide for yourself. There have been some troubles in the west, out by Bree in the Evendim Hills of late. There is a group of men from the south. They call themselves the Headless Cross. They are primarily, I believe, a band of relic hunters who have turned to somewhat darker purpose in the last few years. Saruman has become aware of their actions in the west. They have caused quite a stir and not a little bit of trouble in Bree, as well as in Norvost recently. Their numbers have swelled and grown. We have discovered, been hiding growing numbers at Dol Guldur, the Dark Fortress. My master, Saruman, has heard that they have some designs. They were searching for something, some artifact or another in the west, which they have uncovered. And my master now fears that they have some dark designs with it. They are heading, as per our information, towards Esgaroth, or as you may know it, Lake Town. My master fears that they mean to perhaps bring back the soul of their ancient master, a necromancer named Thazin Kell, who died some number of years ago, but has recently been known to have been affecting events in the West through an artifact that held his soul, an artifact that was called the Twilight Keep. The soul has now been removed from the keep. We know that they have some designs. They plan to try and bring back their ancient master. Saruman believes that with the force that they've gathered at Dol Guldur, they are now very much a serious threat. We have made entreaties to the people of Thranduil in Mirkwood, and the Elf King has agreed to send a force to meet you in the hopes that perhaps you may lay in ambush, intercept the forces of the Headless Cross moving towards Esgaroth. You ought to take a boat here and travel up the river running. You will, after a few days' ride, arrive at my notes. Where are my notes? Nothing interrupts the role-playing like looking for your notes. Where be my notes? You will travel north. At Terran Thuan Point, you will disembark, and then head north into Mirkwood, across the Hadron Span, and meet up with the forces of Thranduil, led by Captain Caloran. Together you'll attempt to head off the forces of the Headless Cross, marching onwards towards Esgaroth. This is what Saruman would like you to do. He has instructed me to inform you that whatever payment you may require will be forthcoming. However, as this is a grave threat to the good people of Middle-earth, he hopes that you will perhaps find it in your hearts to lend a hand. Elfred says, well, it's certainly not in our habits of letting dark forces such as the ones you described go without opposition. If you don't mind, Master Grima, I would like to take a moment to consult with my troop here, and just to gauge everyone's response to this, if you don't mind. I will have an answer for you very shortly. He says, please, please. Time is of the essence, but surely take time to palaver a little amongst yourselves. I will use this opportunity to go and relieve myself. This tea goes right through me. He gets up, supporting himself with his staff. Shall return shortly.
And as he walks away, Jorah leans over to Falco and says, I think he forgot the sugar in his drink.
Yeah, it smelled very similar. I thought he had taken some from us, but
Ilfrith says, well, what do you think? I know we were planning on heading south for the coming winter months, but I don't believe that Saruman is one to reach out for help for frivolous reasons. I think we might want to accept this mission and embark on this journey, but of course we have always worked along the principle of agreement amongst ourselves, so please have your say. The rest of your companions will speak in turn. I hate just kind of role-playing NPCs talking to each other, so I'm not going to do it. But the rest of your companions will speak. You will find that Teleron, the elf scholar whom you are in charge of guarding, of protecting, will say that a mage like Saruman, the head of the council, the Saruman the White, is certainly not one to get involved unless the news is very dire. He will express some concerns as to why there's not a larger force being gathered, but if King Thranduil has agreed to send a force of her own, of course, with even just a small group of elves, should be more than enough to handle any sort of opposition that this bench of treasure hunters who serve the shadow might offer. Willoughby, who has since sort of sidled up to Silent and just sort of like, as is usual, while you were trying to listen, he was making funny faces and cracking little jokes and sort of just trying to get you to kind of, relax and crack a smile a little bit, which of course didn't work. Says, he'll say that, there comes a time when even the most ardent defender of the good people and the goodwill has to start contemplating whether or not it's, might be time to go and do something else and maybe stop getting involved in each and every conflict that sort of pops up. But at the end of the day, he understands that this is what this group came together to do, this fellowship, and he is more than willing to go along if this is the will of the group. Finally, Beryl, the dwarf treasure hunter who is standing with Falco, I'll speak a little bit more darkly. She'll say that she feels like each and every new adventure like this that is set before the fellowship, for the company, seems to be graver and darker and always just that much more grievous than the ones in the past. And she'll say that frankly she's starting to feel a little tired of it. She's not saying that it shouldn't be done. She just wonders if really it should be your task to do this. You are capable, yes, but you handle bandits, you help wine merchants, you escort caravans. That's the kind of work that you do. Are you really the kind of people to get involved in some sort of, as she says, cockamamie plan to resurrect some long dead necromancer? That seems a little bit out of your league, and she can't help but wonder if there wouldn't be maybe other people better suited for this kind of thing, and that perhaps a lot of you could, tend to things perhaps a bit more within your grasp. Now that they've all spoken sort of their piece, Elfrith will turn to the rest of you and go, well, we value your voices as much as anybody else in this fellowship, so if you would, please tell us what you think of this particular situation.
I have a question. I've started smoking again, but if I'm not allowed to smoke inside, I'm trying to hide it.
You're
But
totally allowed to smoke inside. People
Sweet.
are smoking,
Sweet.
no problem. Yeah.
Sick. So I'm smoking there, and I'm looking pretty pensive, I think, for a tiny little man. And I'll so there is an army. They have like a captain in charge of the army. What are we supposed to do? I'm like Beryl. I'm totally with you. Like this doesn't seem like our regular thing. I don't. What are we supposed to be doing to help them? I don't understand.
I think traditionally, says Elfrith, the elves have been loath to, and I say this with no disrespect to our friends here, have been loath to shoulder the burden on their own of confronting the shadow. And I think this is perhaps a gesture from Saruman, bringing together a group of people from all the different nations to assist in this, so as to perhaps share the burden, even if perhaps symbolically. Certainly, Beryl, being the only dwarf in our fellowship, cannot be expected to stand for the entire dwarven nations, but it is a symbolic gesture in many ways. And well, those old mages are nothing if not enamored of symbolism and so on and so forth. So I think that we happen to be nearby, available. I think that is what motivates the choice.
Capable, yeah. So I'll sit back and I'll just be puffing, thinking.
Anyone else would like to chime in?
I think Arya will kind of, seeing that there's like mixed vibes about this, I think she's going to grab the drink that Jorah had placed before her and kind of stand up and say, well, why shouldn't we go? I mean, we've been told this information, and I mean, Falco's right. We are capable. We can do this. We can help. We can do our part to rid the land of this dark shadow. I, for one, am on board. And she'll like hold her drink up to like cheers, hoping that someone else will like go with her, and depending on if they do or not, if nobody else does, then she'll kind of like sheepishly like sit down.
I'll say this. When you do that, you see Teleron roll his eyes. Like,
It's Cylon too.
And when you offer the drink, Jorah stands up and clinks it and basically like chugs one of the two drinks she had been holding. And when she puts it down, she says, "What?
Oh, I thought you were. Thank you, but and she's like, just kind of like stuttering, like not really expecting that. It's like, thank you though, and this is really good. Just kind of sit there and sip a little bit.
I don't quite agree with Arya's reasoning. But I would be remiss to say that those treasure hunters probably also have a font of knowledge at their fingertips that might be better suited for us. Better used outside of the shadow, yes? And I'm nothing if not want to save, rescue knowledge.
You're
If
nothing
helping
if
the
not
elves.
curious, and you know what they say about curiosity.
Satisfaction brings cats back, my friend.
We had a cat problem once in the Shire. It was really annoying. They were all over the place. And we found out that he leans in. Old Mrs. Bunce Baggins had been leaving cheese out at night to draw them.
Rats are lactose intolerant.
Imagine what happened with that.
I really don't want to.
And that is why the Bunce Baggins are regarded with a certain amount of, well, shall we say, suspicion in the Shire now.
And well liked.
Of course. You especially,
Nice.
Falco. You especially, Falco, are a gregarious sort, and certainly the best representative of your family that could ever be.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
You know, Willoughby is just like, he just likes to poke fun. Like, he's never really serious about his little jibes.
The point is, I think we should go. If only because there's books there that I haven't read.
Go,
Let me-
stay, I don't care. My opinion doesn't matter. Go, Aelfrith. And then Jorah takes another swig.
Alfred looks at you like, well, if not unanimous, at least it seems like the eyes have it. As she says that, all of you suddenly, have you ever placed a vignette around an image, right, with just a little bit of like kind of that darkening at the corners? You kind of feel like the world around you has just done that. It's kind of like suddenly grown a little bit cramped, and the edges have kind of darkened a little bit. And as soon as Elfrith has mentioned that you're accepting this quest and you're going on it, you felt the light in the room dim a little bit. The sound of people talking and laughing has kind of become a little bit more subdued, and you can't really pinpoint it. You can't really know exactly why or sort of what's happened. It just, you know, sometimes there's a lull in conversations, sort of naturally happens, but you can't help but shake the feeling that somehow something shadowy and dark from very far away has now suddenly taken notice of your little group. You feel this slight sense of, well, I don't want to say dread, but this slight sense of apprehension, perhaps, that you have now committed yourselves to a path that will certainly take you into danger. You all take one shadow point as this dark little weight settles a little bit on your shoulders and your heart. Now, some of you may have talents that allow you to better resist shadow, like I think hobbits.
When I have a saving throw, I do.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a saving throw, though. So go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okie dokie. Big brain time. That is an 8.
Right. So you feel this little darkness settle onto your shoulders and your heart. Hey, darling Creepshow. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. The best creep that ever creeped on the internet. Moments later, as if summoned by your decision, Grima returns, seemingly relieved, comes up to the table, sits down, finishes his tea, Well then, what shall I tell my master? Saruman the White awaits your answer. What shall it be?
You should add sugar to your tea.
He looks at you and goes, that does terrible things to your teeth. And he smiles and you see his yellowed and kind of darkish teeth already. Elfra says, we accept, of course. If Saruman the White has deemed it important and has Dane reach out to us, we will answer the call. Grima says, very well then. There is a boat that will await you later this afternoon, so you can sail out on the late tide in the port. I will leave all the information with you. I have been given leave to provide a certain amount of monies up front if you should need any equipment. I am told to advise you that by the time you reach Esgaroth, it will be winter there. And so, while it may be, and he says this kind of with a little bit of disgust, balmy and sunny here right now, it will be much colder by the time you arrive there. And certainly, Jara, you could confirm that it's going to be cold by the time you get up there. Very well, I leave you the map. He puts a little pouch of coins down and the funds. You ought to meet Captain Caloran a day's north march of the point, just past the span. He will await you with the men from, with the elves from Thranduil's kingdom. Best of luck to you all. The shadows move in the east, and it is up to those of substance and goodwill like us to stand before it. I leave you now. I have a long road to return to Theoden King. I wish you a safe journey. So does Saruman. Know that you will have his favor whilst you are on this mission. And with that, leaving his tarnished cup of foul-smelling tea behind, Grima, advisor to Theoden King, walks out of the inn. Well, he's certainly a strange fellow, says Elfrith as she rolls up the map.
I think if you took the grease out of his hair, he could get there twice as fast.
Well, he's been on the road for several days, let's not forget. She'll reach and take the pouch of coins and will throw them at you, Jara. Could the four of you see to getting whatever equipment we might need? Jara, since you are from Esgaroth, you will know better than anyone else what we may need for the road. I will head to the docks, and perhaps Willoughby would accompany me. We will see about this boat and try to make sure that everything is ready for our trip there. Beryl and Telron, if you would like to go and make sure that our mounts are ready to travel. I think that would be the best thing to do at this point. Let's meet at the docks later this afternoon. And with that, your friends, some of them with pats on your backs, some of them with final little jabs, will leave the inn to tend to their chores, leaving the four of you sitting there around the table, some half-empty mugs of beer in front of you, perhaps a little bit of food from whatever leftover dinners you were having. Certainly, Willoughby and Falco had been having, combining just to be efficient, 11 Z's and lunch. Just to be efficient, because, there is work at hand. What would you like to do?
So Jorah's going to take the bag of money and turn to Silent and say, "And for you, sir?"
Excuse me, I don't think that I was given that task.
Yes, but if I keep it, I'm going to lose it, and she'll yell at me again, and I can't do that again.
Here's a banner idea then, Jorah. Don't lose it again.
How can I lose it if I have to remember where it is?
You don't plan to do that with your awful smelling booze, do you?
I could never lose this.
Then keep it with the booze.
Fine. And she tucks it away.
I'll go with you, though, to ensure that you're actually buying things we need.
Thanks, Mom. And yeah, I guess we're shopping. Oh no, sorry.
Oh, she'll talk as we're walking. Did you all hear? Did you all hear about where we're going? What we're doing? This is huge. This is bigger than anything that we've done so far. No one else is excited.
Sounds like a long walk.
We're taking a boat.
And then we're walking,
We've been walking for weeks.
I guess.
The walking.
Yes, we're going
After
to
the
see-
walking, we're gonna see my family. Yay! And then somewhere she pulls out a flask and is able another drink.
Oh. But we're also taking down a dangerous crime gang. That's exciting.
I'm looking forward to allowing you to handle that.
And I can. I think she'll take out, she's like two little daggers and kind of like flip them in her hands and do kind of like a like if you saw like a guy walk it like a gym bro just kind of like punch in the air. I think she's gonna do that, but like have her daggers in her hands doing like pew, pew, pew. I'm just like really excited about
Question, did they leave the map behind?
In my head, she'd taken it with them. I would say that if you did want a map, you would certainly, in one of your books, be able to find one.
Yeah, I think Silent has opened a new book to a section of maps
Would
of
you like
the
to see
area.
the map of the area again?
Please, by all means.
Oh, it is on the thing. So let me show you, I guess. At some point, I'm going to remember how Owlbear works. Now, it helps if I embiggen it. You are currently here. Wow. Big flag. So you are currently right here. You are going to be planting a huge flag. You're going to be disembarking somewhere around here to hopefully hook up in this area with the elves from Thranduil and hopefully getting ahead of the Headless Cross, which was leaving Dol Guldur, which is here. Now they have to somehow cross Mirkwood, so whether they're going to go up and then across or around it or through it, no one knows. But either way, it's pretty tight, but you might be able to get ahead of them over here. And then, regardless of how they're coming, at some point they're going to have near the mountains of Mirkwood to come out, and that's where you would ambush them. Asgaroth is up here, of course, which is where... where's the copy option right there? Asgaroth or Lake Town's over here. Erebor, of course, the Lonely Mountain. So it's a several days boat ride up the river running. And then probably about a good day of walking to meet up with the elves of Mirkwood. Thankfully, you're not really going to go in Mirkwood because that's a whole nother thing, and I don't do spiders, so we're not going into Mirkwood.
I appreciate it.
Well, that'll be a couple days. That'll be enough time for me to hopefully discern some extraneous insights for the people we'll be helping.
You're probably also going to need some more reading because you're going to blow through everything you have. I mean, unless you want to reread some of your books for the, 100th time?
We need to go to the library and buy all the town records.
Oh, no.
So
No, you're right, it wouldn't be useful.
I will say that you'll spend the rest of the day sort of going about town, first of all, gathering your own effects, then purchasing whatever Jorah says would be useful, like some warmer gear for the climate up there. You'll all pick up little things to snack on, maybe some souvenirs from the area, a couple bottles of wine, some books. The librarian, when you come back, will actually let you into her private stash, which once you get past a couple of steamy romances, there's actually like a couple of interesting history books on the region and so on and so forth. So you can pick up some things that are perhaps of interest to you. By the time you're ready to go, you're still will have finished distilling, and you will have several portions of Efferweizen ready to go. You can bring some to the list man if you want. You will start a new list when you do. The list of the days when someone came and gave him something, and it's a list of one, but at least it's a new list. And I will say then that you'll eventually be ready to go on ship, and we're going to go on break here in just a few minutes. But is there any last thing you would like to do while you're still in Ardridge, or any last thing you would like to prepare? When we come back, we'll be on the boat. So is there any last thing you would like to settle or do while you're here?
I think RA secretly bought 3 of the steamy romance novels and hid them in Cylon's book stack or whatever, and is going to be kind of like a little experiment in her mind to see if we're on a boat for that long, will they eventually read it or not. So that's kind of a
Arlette
little...
likes you so much that she actually gives you like 3 for 2 kind of deal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My face must be super soft, you guys. That's crazy.
And she tells you, this is my favorite one. This one here with the shirtless elven knight on the cover, and the halfling princess.
Oh.
Yeah, yes. Oh, yes.
You should write one.
Really? You think so?
Of course. You have plenty of time.
And I have read quite a number of them, and I do have ideas. These things are pretty good at giving you ideas.
You sound like an expert.
Well, I don't know if I'd call myself that, but my husband always says, Arlette, you get the job done.
There you go. I think that's plenty of what you need.
I think he was referring to my cooking, but
If you do, you should send me the first send the first draft by Raven to Rivendell and write my name on it, and I'll get it somehow. I will actually read it.
Well, we actually have some of our merchants here actually make it all the way to Rivendell in the spring with wine. So maybe there might be a little present for you in there.
Oh, that's more dependable. Yes.
I'll try to draw a cover too, but I'm not really that good at that.
I'm sure it'll be great. I'm so excited.
She takes your name down. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody gonna get into the steamy romances? No.
Maybe. I will get into those steamy sausage buns, and I will try and buy like everything that's left.
Yeah. When you show up, there's like the regular pile, and then there's like a triple pile that's on the side, and it says for the 2 halflings.
Well,
For
I'm
the
not a
two hobbits.
halfling, but
Or for the two hobbits, sorry.
Hobbit. Perfect.
That should last you till at least until like after supper.
First supper, at least.
First supper, at least. Anybody else? Let's see. Last thing we'll do here before we're going to break, Jar. Let's see how good your Effervescent turned out.
Oh,
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead, Mein Freund, and let's call it what, like a performance roll, maybe?
sure.
Or a medicine roll or a nature roll. Okay. Look, I would say, you know, let's I don't know. Let's call it. There's no performance in this game. Oh yeah, there is. So I'll
Yeah.
let you decide between performance or nature, since you kind of mixed natural ingredients and all that together.
It's the same modifier.
Oh,
so
there you go.
let's just go for one. Oh, stop rolling. It's 14.
You having difficulty?
No, sorry. I'm new to the character sheet and I'm remembering where everything is. Okay, so 17.
17. Well, thankfully you added that sugar, because that really made all the difference. And while the smell is maybe still kind of a little bit off, because you know the fermentation process took hold a little bit, was delayed a little bit because of the lack of sugar, it still turned out pretty damn good.
And
I'll
then
say-
with Falco's blessing, this one is titled Smells Like Lists.
Nice. And I will say that it's good enough, in fact, that you'll have 4 portions worth that will act as a sort of healing draft. And if you drink it during a short rest, you will recover double the amount of hit points you would normally regain. And what about Silent? Anything? Or is Silent good to go?
Silent carries everything that they own on their person, books included, just sort of strapped to them in some capacity, and is at the docks as soon as possible, studying the maps.
Not a problem. All right. So we will then go ahead and take our break here. That's a good point to do that. When we return, we will get on that boat, see what happens. Thank you so very much. You're all absolutely wonderful. The characters are amazing. You're all excellent. I don't know what happened, but Andy, I think, is drunk at the controls. But you know, we'll sort that out. We'll give Andy some coffee and some foul-smelling tea at the break, and everything will be awesome. What? Okay, yes, absolutely. Let's take a short break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Please don't go away. We absolutely appreciate all of you standing here, watching, chatting, and so on and so forth. So please hang out. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thank you very much. We're on a boat.
And
We're on a boat. We're on a boat. Thanks so
And
much
it's
for hanging
going
out with us.
fast, and
Well, yeah, it's going. It's going. You know, it's a boat that knows what it's doing. It's a little bit like, you know, Arlette that way. Gets the job done. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you hanging out in chat. And yes, Miko, I appreciate you too. We are back. Our friends here and their fellowship have been dispatched by Saruman the White, of all people, to intercept the Headless Cross, who apparently has been gathering a force at Dol Guldur and is now heading to Esgaroth. And our friends are to meet up with a group of elves from King Thranduil to intercept them and hopefully make things bad for them. They are currently on a boat heading north of the river running towards Mirkwood. It's been a few days on the boat. It's been a bit more R&R. You've gotten to, you know, sort of lay back, kick back, enjoy the ride a little bit. We'll see exactly in a minute whether or not, well, in a few minutes, we'll see whether or not the ride is eventless or eventful. But before we do that, on the ride over, I'd like to take a moment with each of you, if you don't mind. And we'll begin with Annika, just because it happens to be the first one on my list here. At some point, Annika, I would assume that Jura has perhaps been polishing Elfred's shield or something to that effect. She does like her gear to be constantly well maintained, so you have a daily regimen of things you have to do. And as you're coming back to her cabin to bring back whatever piece of gear you've been working on, you find her, as you often do, studying the map and making notes and sort of plans and all that. Usually she doesn't even kind of notice really that you're coming and going, picking up stuff and going to work on it and bringing it back. You come in and deposit the shield that you'd been cleaning perhaps, and then pick up something else you're going to go in and sort of do maintenance on. And she says, your family runs an inn in Esgaroth, don't they?
sure do.
Is it still standing?
Aye. It was one of the first rebuilt after Smaug's desolation. We hosted many families during the reconstruction.
And your folks, they never thought of leaving after what happened?
Grandma and Grandpa wanted us to go, but Pa wouldn't hear of it. Home was home, and we were there.
You never spoke about it much, but is that why you decided to leave, or?
And as you may notice, this is in sharp contrast to the boasting, loud Jorah you all have seen. This is someone that only Aelfred has been able to unlock out of Jorah, and so sorry, what was the question? I did lose my train of thought for a second.
Yeah, no, it's okay. She just asked if that's why you had left, if it was because they decided to stay there or whatever.
Right. So at that question, she smirks and was like, "Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but they actually tricked me. I thought we were just going to get some spices and herbs for the inn, and then you said that I was staying, and that was news to me."
That was news to you?
Yeah. So did Mom and Dad talk to you?
They did. They said they had a daughter who wanted to see the world and sort of learn a bit of a trade and was adventurous, and I just took them at their word. They really
I mean,
just left you with them.
It's not the first time. They've wanted me out of the kitchen for a long time. What with my brother and sister actually running the inn and everything, but yeah, no, that was a long trip when we first went north. That was weird.
I'm
And then
sorry.
she like nervously like keeps rubbing whatever she's working on, like suddenly like shy again, like
Is this? I'm sorry if this is painful for you. I didn't mean to. I was just going to ask about, some details about Lake Town, but I didn't mean to.
no, I mean, I'm here to help. Like, you are the reason I'm here. You are incredible with your determination to the land and the people, and it's the reason I stay. And I know I hum and I ha sometimes, but I've got your back.
Well, I never once doubted your dedication, but I'm sorry. I didn't know. So how do you feel about going back then? I can understand why you didn't bring this up at the meeting the other day, but are you apprehensive about getting back home at this point?
No, right now I'm just excited. It'll be fun to see everybody. My little brother's going to be 13 now, and I'm sure my older siblings are still bickering about how the inn should be run while my parents are actually still running everything behind them.
Mhm.
And she like kind of laughs at the wall or something
Hmm.
off in the distance. And yeah, I just hope Grandma and Grandpa are okay. They were in good shape when I left, but they are old.
Hmm. Well, I certainly hope they're fine. Also, you do realize that there's a serious threat to the town. I don't know much more than you do, but I certainly got the feeling that if Saruman the White, of all people, thought that this Headless Cross group was dangerous, that they probably are. Are you going to be okay dealing with that?
Well, I know we're going to deal with it, so I guess I'm not worried about it. And like, there's a purity in that statement. She really believes that.
I guess I just want to know that you're still going to be the same careful, level-headed Jar that I know, and not do anything overly dangerous.
You've shown me the right line of trouble.
Have you seen Lake Town since it was rebuilt?
I saw it when people were kind of just re-expanding their roots. I'm sure people have settled in even more, and it'll be exciting to see how they've grown.
I saw it once a long time ago before all these events with Smaug. I thought it was very beautiful, very peaceful back then. I thought it must be very calming to live on the water like that. I look forward to seeing what they've done. I'm glad they've rebuilt. I think it's extremely important when tragedy strikes, when terrible things happen that rip away things that we love, that we take the time to rebuild, because that's how we stand up to the shadow, by not allowing it to win by grinding us down.
And at that, Jorah smiles and kind of gives Aelfrith the little 1-2, like, yeah, that's how I know the Headless Cross doesn't stand a chance.
Plus, apparently they're headless, so I guess we'll see. Well, thank you for trusting me with this confidence, and, well, if ever you want to talk some more about it, or just tell me about the lake town that you remember, I'm always glad to listen.
I appreciate that, but I think it's good enough to look forward to seeing the lake town we're going to see together.
I look forward to that. Why don't you leave those things be for today? Just, maybe take some time for yourself and go up on the deck and let the water around us remind you of the waters of back home and what it used to be like. And now it will be again when you see it.
And Jorah, knowing better than to argue, kind of sets her things down and starts walking away, but under her breath you hear, if I mixed enough of the sugar with the yeast.
Sorry. JT, what have you been doing? Reading. What have you been doing aside from reading on this trip? Anything else? Anything different? Anything exciting?
Silent is not a very exciting person. I'm sorry to say, Silent does not do much outside of reading. If they're not reading, then they're charting courses, studying the local maps for the area they're going to be landing, and seeing if they can spot any, anywhere that might give them just a little bit more advantage to give to whoever they're going to meet.
While you're busy doing that, there's a knock at your cabin door.
It's unlocked.
Willoughby comes in. You know, you really should get out on the deck and smell some of that fresh air.
I don't think that the crew would appreciate it very much. What happens after I smell that fresh air?
Oh, are you a little,
I don't do well on boats.
Well, sorry to hear that. Are you okay?
Yeah. Down here it's fine. As long as I can't see the boat rocking, I can mostly ignore the actual feeling.
So if I were to do this, would it be
Don't do
bad?
Yes, it would be. Stop, please.
Sorry. Am I interrupting anything?
Nothing particularly important. I've gone over these maps about a dozen times now. I'm just trying to see if I can find us any
You know
extra
they don't change
advantages.
in between times when you look at them, right?
Maps are
They're not
changing all the
customized.
time.
Yeah, but not like... You're right.
I'm just looking for vantage points, stuff that we can use against the ambush that we're going to be planning. The thing we were hired to do.
Yeah, I usually leave that, the more tactically minded. I kind of just need them to tell me where to stand and, who to shoot at. And that usually works out pretty good for me, I find. I find that the more I kind of think about it, the more anxious I get about it, and then more nervous I get about it, and then the less able to perform I am. I just like, so I just put it out of my mind, show up. What is it that, what's that saying the dwarves have? You only live once or something like that. Anyways, I prefer to just, you only live once it. That's how I go. That's how I go.
See, I'm afraid I do not share that sentiment. Knowing what's going to happen, or having ideas about it, is what calms me down.
And that's why I'm here. I figured you'd be the exact perfect person to talk to about this. He reaches into his jacket and he pulls out an envelope, a letter, and he puts it on your desk. And you see that it's addressed to him. Just his name, Willoughby, and then care of Bree.
What is this?
And give it a read.
Silent will very hesitantly take it and open it.
When you open it, and there's a piece of paper inside. When you unfold it, there's nothing written.
Did you come all this way to prank me with a letter addressed to yourself with no words on it?
No, there are words on it, but that's the catch. Apparently, I'm the only one who can see them. Last time we were in Bree, this young halfling messenger named Irving showed up. He said he had a letter for me. He said he found it in the satchel of a dead messenger out west near the Evendims. said he found a bunch of letters that had people's names and addresses, and he'd taken it upon himself to deliver these letters. And well, one of them happened to be addressed to me, care of Bree, and it so happened I was in Bree, which I'm never in Bree, but I was in Bree that day. Remember when we were coming back from Norwest? Anyways, long story, but when I read that letter, well, it speaks of my death. It doesn't say a lot, doesn't go into a lot of details. I'm sorry.
He's already dying.
And that's how we killed Bleak.
Yeah, that's how they got Bleak. He died streaming. Thank God he was wearing pants. It speaks of my death. It doesn't really give me much detail. It says that I will die at the hands of the earth. I gotta tell you, I'm usually pretty good at letting things kind of just roll off my back, you know? But it's kind of shaken me a little bit. And, well, I kind of just thought, what do you know about, what are your thoughts on clairvoyance and telling the future? Can people really do that?
Personally, it's complicated. I don't think it's unheard of for artifacts or relics to be able to sort of give a generalization about the future, if that makes sense. The way that the world works, there's only so many options that can be had, right? So it's not out of the realm of reason for something magical or tainted by shadow or what have you to be able to make those predictions based on the most likely outcome.
But in terms that I would understand, can you repeat everything you've just said, but in a way that I'll understand what you're saying to me?
People with magical relics could theoretically, possibly, predict the future. Nothing would be certain. I don't believe in that kind of certainty. But it's not without reason to say that this letter is mostly legit.
So I should be worried.
Unless they give an exact time and date, it's really, dwelling on it might be one of the things that drags it closer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like I don't like to think about the fight ahead. I just kind of like to show up and do it.
Right. If I could hold on to this letter, though.
Sure. Think it's tainted with shadow? I have been feeling a little bit of a migraine.
Somebody enchanted a letter with text only you could read.
Yeah, but why me? Like, I've never pissed off anyone in my life.
You don't recognize the handwriting at all?
No, and that's the funny thing. It changes all the time. It's different every time I read it.
It's different.
I knew I shouldn't have taken that letter. My poppy always told me, if someone's looking for it, hanging a letter, they're probably trying to drag you to court, so you don't accept the letter. I should have stayed firm and not taken the letter. That damn Irving. If I find him, I'm gonna put my big hairy.
Okay, don't
butt.
shoot the messenger.
Yeah, that's funny. That used to be my line.
All right, but I don't understand you. But
Yeah, that's why we get along so well. We don't understand each other, so we just kind of exist. That's great. Coexist. Just perfect.
Right, yes, you let me do what I need to do, and I help you if you need help, which is very rare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would prefer.
I don't wear shoes, so it's not like me needing to tie my shoes is a big thing. I get it.
Yes, exactly. I would prefer if you didn't die by the hands of the earth. So I'm just going to keep this letter and see if I'm capable, with the studies that I have acquired over the years, to sort of figure out if I can discern its origin.
All right, so I should worry, but I shouldn't worry too much, and I should just cross that bridge when I get there.
Unless you can personally discern the exact origin of this letter and what the cryptic messages mean, no, you shouldn't worry too much. Because
And
at
you know
that
what?
point,
Maybe it's just a joke. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's just my cousin Cummerbund who's just like, put this Irving guy up to this. And, he's got a bit of a dark streak in his humor. You should have seen what he did one Yule with the turkey. Just bad. Like the family wasn't the same ever again after that. But that would be just like Cummerbund to do. It's like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. It's just a joke, right? It's a gag, right?
if that is what you need to believe right now, to forget about this letter in the meantime so you can do your job, then yes, that's exactly what it is.
Comforting's not really your gig, right? Like you
I'm
don't
trying.
do comforting too well, right?
I'm trying my best.
Oh, well, I can see that, and I thank you for it. I certainly appreciate it. Well, we're on water right now, so I guess I'm safe at least while we're on the boat.
Right.
However, I did see someone load a bag of dirt. I'm gonna go check up on that.
Don't do that. Do not go seeking this out, Willoughby. Okay?
All right,
Uh,
that's very wise. For someone who's so young, barely above 150, you're very wise.
Yes, well, that is why I joined up with this troop, to learn about the world and see what things I could discern from it that had not previously been incited.
Yeah, no, you need to get out and party a little bit more. That wasn't. Look, it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. He comes over and he gives you a hug, but like he's very short. So
yeah, silent his arms fully all the way up. I don't know why you're feeling the need to do this.
Well, because in your own way, you've brought me some comfort, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Hugging is good. You should hug more. I'm sure your friend Arya would give you a nice big hug, Like,
I don't think Arya understands who I am as a person. I don't think you understand who I am as a person.
I think that's the problem. Maybe it is that we do understand a little bit more than you think. And it's just that, we know what might be good for you because we care.
Okay, well, I don't think it's this. This is uncomfortable and weird.
Okay, fine. Cool. Fine. No worries. Just punch it then.
I'm not touching you.
All right, fine. I'm going to go hug Falco. Thanks.
Okay, have fun with that.
At least the same height as I am.
Right, yeah, it's less awkward.
He's always stepping on my feet, though. He's probably a terrible dancer.
You should have seen it before we ran into you.
I bet you. Those Bunce Bagginses, though. Something about him that's just...
Yeah, he didn't seem particularly popular when he followed me out of the Shire.
Bunce Bagginses.
Bunce Bagginses.
That's right. All right. Thanks, buddy.
I will let you know as soon as I figure something out.
Right, sharp. He skedaddles on out of there. Speaking of Bunce Bagginses.
You rang.
Falco, you I've noticed something, and you probably noticed it first in the inn, but since then you've noticed that Beryl has taken a little bit of a dark kind of downturn. She
Mhm.
used to be a fairly gregarious dwarf, used to love having a good time and a good drink, a good joke, tell a good story, smoke a nice bowl. But definitely since the encounter at the inn and since being on the boat, she's kind of been quiet, kind of keeping to herself a little bit. And well, you're not sure what it is, but there's something that she has that she keeps kind of looking at her, playing with, and then as soon as someone comes around, you come around, she kind of puts it away, and you're getting kind of worried a little bit about Beryl.
Mhm. Where is she now? Have I kind of located her? I know where she
Yeah,
is.
you kind of go around maybe to her cabin, you don't find her there, and then you kind of go down, you realize that someone tells you, oh yeah, I saw her downstairs in the hold. She's been going down there. I know she's singing to herself a lot.
Hmm. Okay. I guess I'll head straight there. I'm not gonna be sneaky about it. Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna try to make it obvious that I'm, heading down the steps or whatever.
You're the loudest hobbit that ever did hobbit.
I'm doing it purposefully.
Uh, you do find her sitting there on one of the crates, sort of looking down at something in her hand, looking very pensive and withdrawn.
I'm sure there's like several boxes and like things that are piled up, and so I'll find a nice little place to perch, and just start like preparing my pipe. I'll and at just kind of just be in the silence with her, ruminate with her and wait for her to kind of start talking if she wants to.
From your perch, she doesn't try to hide it this time, but you notice she's holding a ring, and it looks kind of old and it's kind of banged up as if it's been hammered or damaged in some way. It's kind of all dented and whatnot.
I'll pull out a second pipe and try to hand her my first one. I'll be like, "Do you want like a smoke?"
I didn't even notice you there. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, why not? Take your pipe. Very expertly sort of prep it, and the two will smoke for a while. She's still toying with the ring. She's like, my precious. No, she's not.
um, how are you feeling about our fellowship's new quest, new endeavor?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I don't know. I feel a very dark weight on my heart about it. I mean, I felt things like that before, but never like this. She takes the ring and flips it and then sort of hands it to you.
I'll take a little look. It looks pretty banged up. Does it have any script?
Yeah, you can definitely see that there are some dwarven runes on it, but it's very simple metal band. It doesn't look like there's no jewels or anything on it. That was the ring that I gave my wife Thora a really long time ago. This is news to you. You had no clue she'd ever been married.
I make a mental note. Laura. Was?
Yeah. Thora was a miner. There was a cave-in at some point. She and several other dwarves got caught in it, and it was really bad. They couldn't even really recover the bodies. I mean, who would have wanted to see them after something that bad? But she had a habit of taking it off when she would go to work, and one of the other miners found it and brought it to me. And I don't speak about it a lot, but
I'm really sorry, Beryl.
no, I think sometimes how uselessly she died, you know. Digging for more wealth, like we dwarves don't have enough already. I always kind of suspected maybe she had a bit of a touch of the dragon sickness.
Is that dragon sickness something I would know about?
Yeah, the dragon sickness is that greed, basically. It's that obsessive desire for gold and jewels that, you know, usually dwarves, but other people get also.
Was she afflicted for a while, you think?
I don't know. There was really no need for her to do that job. But it's what she loved doing, so how are you going to tell the person you love to stop doing the thing they love to do? Spent a lot of time thinking that, you know, at least I'm doing something worthwhile out here, you know, doing something meaningful. But I tell you, Falco, I kind of feel like lately it's much all for naught. And what I do, what we do out here, doesn't really matter much more than the way she died. It's like we keep trying to push water uphill.
I think I get what you mean. I feel since we took this, I think I felt a weight, and yeah, we fix problems, and then there are more problems, and then there are bigger problems, and then, but you know, I was worried. The reason I'm sure you know the reason that I left the Shire, like, you know, it was partially I was worried that I was gonna die after having, you know, a life of decadence as the other hobbits do, and like after traveling some, I think I understand some of the stories that I've heard that Mr. Bilbo has told, and
Speak a lot of Mr. Bilbo. Were you very close?
we've never met. He's a distant relation, probably like my third cousin, 4 times removed, and you know, anyway, but he actually was part of the reason that Smog is no longer around, I think. So.
And see, yet we're heading up there again to protect Lake Town again. Like, what good was saving it from Smog if it's just being threatened again and we have to go back there again and defend it again?
I mean, there are still people there, people who are living their lives, maybe with less decadence than the other hobbits, but you know.
Do you ever think of going back home?
I think I'll have to eventually, but I wasn't the most popular. It's very quiet in the Shire. There aren't too many other rabble rousers, I suppose I've been called.
You imagine that.
But Yeah, when Silent came through, like I saw them and they seemed super cool and new and exciting, and I don't know if I've
Sounds like the most boring person I've ever met.
but for someone who if you haven't ever seen really an elf before,
Hmm.
because like that's really neat. And so I followed Silent without them knowing for a little bit, and then we traveled a while. But yeah, I feel, yeah, I'll have to go back eventually, but until then, trying to find my purpose, I guess.
Well, I hope that when you do decide to go back, you get to. Also, if Silent is that exciting to you, it must be really boring there.
Ah, I mean, sometimes they break into people's houses for fun, or my grandmother's stepson, he had a really good centerpiece on his table that he was really proud of that he had made, and he really sucks. So I broke in and I took it for a while. I planted it in actually my grandma's house. Don't tell her. So that caused a little bit of a kerfuffle, but that was pretty fun.
Well, I'll tell you what. One thing you never fail at is giving me a little reason to smile.
I am a little reason to smile, I guess. Yeah. But if I think I understand where you're coming from. If you want to talk more, or if you'd be interested in teaching me, I've heard that you've been singing down here, and so if you care, I'd like to sing with you if you'd be interested.
Oh, that wasn't me. There's a cat in here.
Oh, well, okay, sorry.
Can I tell you one thing, though? She leans in, and for the first time, you see what appears to you to be like perhaps a tiny glimpse of madness in the eyes. Like there's something a little kind of... She leans in and she says, I've begun to fear that there's a shadow that stalks us. I think maybe one of us has fallen too deep in shadow and may betray us. You should be very careful, Falco. I don't think we can trust everyone. And there's like this little hint of paranoia. This little shadow of like, you're like, oh, be careful who you trust. Someone in this company is not who they seem. And then it's kind of gone, and then she leans back and she takes the ring and puts it back in her pocket. Well, we're on this road now, I guess. Got to see it through. Thanks for your talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's go back upstairs, shall we? It's kind of
Smoky.
dark in here, and that cat's going to start warbling again anytime now.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to give her a hug. I don't know if dwarves hug. You only live once.
Sure.
I'll go in for her.
She'll give you a hug.
Sweet.
She smells of earth and minerals and all those raw...
Metals.
Yeah.
Minerals. Yeah.
Upstairs, meanwhile, Harry, the best thing perhaps that has come of this boat trip that you're on, that you haven't seen a lot of Teleron. He's been kind of keeping to himself in a cabin, not mingling too much. Sometimes you kind of think that maybe, you know, he and Silent should have been hooked up together because they're very similar. But you're thinking, you know, probably time to check in at some point. Maybe he's dead. Like, it's been a few days. He might be dead. You never know.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah, that probably takes a while. Probably too long. If it was somebody that, you
Two
know,
more days after you add that thought.
right? It's like, should I? Nah, there was always like I should do something else. But yeah, I think she'll go and just kind of like take a deep breath before just like lightly knocking on the door. Really,
Who is it?
not one. It's REA. I'm just checking in.
Well, don't just stand out there like bad news. Come in.
Okay, and she'll open the door quickly and kind of do the close and then just like stand at the door.
He's sitting at a desk, working, writing some stuff. He's got a little window open. There's a little bit of a breeze coming in. And eventually, kind of stops. Yes?
Hadn't seen you on deck in a while, so
It's because I've been in my cabin.
right. I just figured I would check in and see if there was anything you needed or any.
I could use a cup of mulled wine if you're going down to the galley.
I can do that. I can do that. Anything else?
Nothing comes to mind. Is there anything I can do for you?
No. I'm content. We are going on an adventure, and that's exciting. So, I'm good.
Are you? Really? Content? Happy? Like you actually like this, doing this, what we do?
I mean, well, I think my job is a little different than I expected it to be. I expected to fight a few more things, and it's fine that I haven't yet. My day will come. I've been told, but you know.
You think you're ready for that?
Yeah. I mean, she's gonna kind of do like a spin, and like, oh, she's wearing all of her weapons, and it's just kind of like, I'm very ready. Yeah.
Have you ever taken a good look at Aelfrith? See how Aelfrith comports herself. See how Aelfrith acts and her demeanor, the poise. Aelfrith is someone who does not seek combat, does not seek occasions to prove herself. She doesn't need to. She has that confidence that tells you, I don't need to see this person do this. I don't need to see this person want to do this. This person can do this. That's what a leader is. That's what someone competent is. This excitement, this always, the frivolities of it, the constant trying to prove yourself, spinning your little knives. What is that? You'll never be taken seriously until you start being serious. And I don't mean serious like your friend Silent, but at least that would be an improvement. At least I see Silent, I go, this is someone of substance. I I see you in the way you act sometimes, and I think, is this person the entertainment?
That was not my intent.
Look, I'm sorry this task that's been set before you to accompany me, to protect me, to guard me, is not what you expected it to be. But it's not going to be a problem for much longer.
What do you mean?
I've had time to think on this little trip of ours. And he takes the paper he was writing and he folds it, and as he's talking, he puts it in an envelope and he melts some wax, and he starts to apply seal to it. And I've been thinking, and I've decided that it's probably going to be time for us to part ways. I've taken the liberty of writing a letter to our superiors back home. He takes the letter, informing them that I think it would probably be better for you to be called back home. You seem to still have quite a bit of learning and maturing to do before you are ready to do this task that's been set before you.
No, what do you can't just do that. I
can. Part of my task is to evaluate your readiness, and well, I'm afraid to say you've come short quite a few times.
Because I've been excited.
You still get to go on this adventure. We're going to go to Lake Town. We'll take care of this Headless Cross nonsense for Saruman the White. He takes the letter, he puts it in his jerkin. I won't send a letter until after that. But once it's done, unless you've truly impressed me, my first act will be to find a messenger, perhaps even Willoughby, and dispatch them with the letter back to Rivendell. You have an opportunity here. You need to look at it as such. You have an opportunity to prove yourself. Now, if you don't mind, I would like a cup of mulled wine. This one is cold.
I think she was like going to say something, but just kind of like turns around and like probably, hopefully only she notices it, like went to go slam the door, but at the last second kind of stopped it and like closed it. And is just going to like make sure she's out of earshot and then have like little mutterings of just like, oh, just like of disgust with that, and is going to, as quickly as she can, go get that mulled wine, not spill any of it, and bring it back to him. And we'll just put...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep working and we'll say thank you.
Ring if you need anything else.
I will.
Yeah, she'll leave.
Okay, Blair, we're good?
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right. A few more days will pass. Each of you stuck perhaps with your own thoughts about what's been going on. Silent doing some research on this letter, and it's just a piece of paper to you. It's very difficult to, yeah.
Actually, I think I might have something that can help with this.
Okay.
As a scholar, I was allowed to take 2 crafts.
Mm-hmm.
And I took Runecraft. And it says at the end of a short or long rest, I can spend a craft slot and choose a magical item in the company's possession, and make an old lore check about it. If I succeed, I will I learn all there is to be discovered about the item's qualities and whether it is cursed or not.
Okay, please go ahead and make a roll.
Absolutely. So I am proficient and I have expertise in this one.
Fully loaded.
Yeah. That's going to be a 28.
Well, look at you. It's as if you made this item yourself. The item is definitely shadow tainted. It's definitely cursed, but you don't get the feeling that it's a he's read the letter, so now it's going to happen sort of thing.
Mm.
You get the feeling that the purpose of this item is to sow doubt and confusion. You get the purpose that it is something that is not really about clairvoyance or anything like that. It's about just making people fear, making people doubt, which is a tool of shadow, really. It's how shadow sort of gets in, right? You weaken the defenses and then you get in. So you get the feeling it's more that than a true blue, this is a look into the future sort of thing. But it is definitely curse. You also feel like it's just part of something bigger, like there's other parts or more to it perhaps somewhere else, but it's just one part of it. And the last thing I'll say with a 28, that's pretty good. So the last thing I'll say is that you get the feeling that it's not specifically targeted at Willoughby, that it's just kind of a throw of the dice that it ended up on Willoughby sort of thing. Like it was, you remember him saying that Irving, the messenger, had found a stack of these letters, and you get the feeling that it's probably kind of random.
So I'm curious as to. Okay. I think Silent will hold on to it, the envelope as well. And just sort of keep it on their person in the meantime.
Can you give me a wisdom saving throw if you're going to keep the letter on you?
You know what? I sure can. It's going to be less good. That's only going to be an 18.
One of the last nights on the boat, you've been thinking about the letter and you fall asleep with it next to your bed. One of the last nights on the boat, you have a strange dream. You see yourself walking on a tightrope across a ravine, and you can't see the ground, you can't see around. There's like fog everywhere, and you can just barely see ahead of you, and you see Willoughby there. And he's walking ahead of you, and he's walking almost kind of like he's walking on the ground, like he's not at all kind of, and he keeps looking over your shoulder and going, come on, come on. And you're on this thing, and it's just like, almost kind of like you feel when you're on the deck of the boat, like it's just swaying everywhere, and Willoughby's just kind of walking, and your thing just kind of going everywhere, and you constantly feel like you're going to fall. And then at some point, you do feel like you're going to go. You feel the weight go in one direction, your feet are about to go, and you really kind of struggle. And as you do, you fall and you reach out and you grab the rope, and you manage to hold on to it. But as you do, it kind of shakes it, and you see Willoughby up front just fall off. And as he falls, he looks back at you, and he's just kind of has this blank expression, and you see him fall away and disappear into the fog. When you wake up in the morning, you feel that something has been trying to kind of get inside of you. This shadow has kind of tried to intensify. Your saving throw was good enough that you don't get another shadow point, but you certainly feel as if there was something somewhere that was trying to get in at you and do that same thing the letter does. Sow some doubt, sow some confusion, sow some fear. You manage to stave it off, but it still lingers.
I think with that, Silent is going to go and find the only person that they can think of that would have a match on them, or some form of fire implement, and is going to go find Falco.
Falco's very easy to find. You probably
Way up on
find him
deck telling stories or something.
on deck or in the kitchen, probably.
Oh, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Having second 11Zs, PMs.
Falco, friend, do you have a match on you?
Ooh. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you would have some light. There's definitely like a candle or something.
something nearby.
That'd work. Silent's just gonna reach over to Falco, grab the candle, and it's gonna hold the letter up to it. Attempt
It
to
starts
light
to
it.
darken, but it won't catch. You see a trail of, not the smoke, but a trail of the suie in French, in English, whatever, the black. Need an English teacher here.
Ash,
Soot.
soot?
Yeah, ash.
So that's the word I was looking for. Like, that darkens the paper, and then when you take it away, eventually that fades away, and you're left with that blank piece of paper.
Why are you trying to burn a blank piece of paper?
Here's the thing: it's not blank.
Mm,
It's got magically encrypted text on it that only Willoughby can read.
that I think Willoughby's pulling a prank on you. I'm sorry. Silent.
Willoughby would never do something like this. This is an object, a letter of great fear and doubt.
Oh.
I took some time to study it. It's been giving me dreams. It doesn't burn. And Willoughby's smart in his own right. For the record, could not have made this.
Okay.
And even if he could have made a blank sheet of paper that gives you nightmares, could not have made it fireproof.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Can we just pitch it in the river?
That would be extraordinarily irresponsible. If it is immune to fire, it is probably immune to water damage, and then it could end up in the wrong hands. If someone were to get this, it would probably drive them insane.
What if we wrap it around a rock?
That might work, but these sorts of things have ways of worming their way off of those predicaments, don't they?
Okay. What are you thinking then? Can I help?
Don't know if you can, unless you also know how to do runic.
No. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
I can help you brew a beer. You want to do that too? Jorah and I are doing one.
I can brew beer on my own.
Oh. Okay.
Fun fact, since it's never ever going to come up again, Silent is proficient in brewer's supplies.
Well, you should have been there.
Oh,
You
he
could have
says-
told us about the sugar. Gosh darn.
Did you ask?
No, I didn't ask. Of course not.
But he did tell us after, too.
Okay.
If I discern anything from this letter that leads me to require your very nimble fingers, I absolutely will come to you first.
Okay. Well, thank you for trusting me. Do you want a pocket cookie? And I'll pull out a really crumbly cookie from my pocket and try to.
I mean so little offense by this, but I would rather never eat anything that came out of your pants.
Okay, suit yourself.
Not really suiting myself. I'm not missing out on anything that isn't going to give me some disease. But thank you for the offer. And Silent will tuck the letter away and walk off.
Take his leave. Sick.
Anything else anyone wants to do on the boat before you arrive at your destination? Anyone you want to throw overboard?
Well, since you said it, Actually, I think, do we have, my brain just went to like ravens, but do we have like birds that we could like, or a way to send a letter at some point?
I would say not from the boat. Certainly, if you got to a town, you'd be able to hire a messenger.
Okay.
But
Okay.
from the boat, we're not as advanced as Game of Thrones here.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll save it then. I'll save it.
You could write the letter and then just keep it.
That's true. Okay, I'll do that. So I think that Arya is going to write a letter to her sister that is Aelwyn, that's in Bree, and just kind of like it's like a updating letter, but also kind of like a venting letter as well. Just kind of like trying to, because she's like somebody told her she's not doing a good job. She's shaping up, so doesn't really want to around the boat like show this like how upset she is, but I think like in the letter probably going to write something like wish I was where you are, having adventures with you. I now understand like why you had to leave type things. Like wish I could wish I was more like you in certain ways. You would probably know what to do in this situation, but I'm having a tough time. Also, not sure if you ever met Teleron, but he's horrible and stinky, and I don't like it, like just some kind of like but yeah, it's like a combination, like she's going to send that letter but also like journaling out her feelings. And would like wrap that up and keep it and send it off whenever she can, hoping that it'll get to her sister.
Excellent. If anyone wants to know what happened to her sister, you can go and watch the first arc of the story. The curse, the curse of Kel's sorrow. I can't even remember the name of my own games. The Curse of Kel's sorrow. One of the main characters was Aelwyn, her sister. Anyways, anybody else?
Jorah was in the kitchen when Falco and Silent had their interaction, but she didn't say anything. But just seeing the ash inspired her, so she makes her own little fire and gets some ash and has been reconstructing her next brew, which will feature that ash forward flavor.
An ash brew, so to speak.
Certainly tastes like ash, but
you could call it the brash. Always thinking. You will eventually arrive at Terran Thuan Point, and we're almost out of time here for tonight, so I'm just going to narrate a little bit of sort of what happens over the next few days. You will disembark, spend the night there. The boat in the morning will return, but you will spend the night, get all your gear ready. You have horses with you, and you know that it's a good day-long hump into the forest, and a little bit over some small like outskirt mountains from the Merkinwood mountain. That's what it's called. It's a Mirkwood, not Merkinwood. Mirkwood. Generally speaking, the feelings are pretty good in the group. I will say that you've managed to erase that shadow point that you got earlier from the rest and whatnot that you got on the trip over. You'll set off early in the morning. You'll go through the edge of the forest. You don't encounter anything problematic. You're kind of on the edge enough. You're making some pretty good time. You eventually sort of climb up an escarpment a little bit. And as you do, you are approaching what's called as the Hardren Span. Hardren Span is two bridges that lead across a fairly deep ravine. One of the bridges is kind of half of it's destroyed and has fallen apart due to time. This thing has been there since time immemorial. On the other side of each bridge, there's a door, and this leads into a small passage through the mountain there that then leads to the bottom in the valley, and then you would arrive where you're supposed to meet the elves from King Thranduil. You start to traverse this bridge with the horses, the pack horses, and everything else going across. The bridge is old, made of stone. It is pretty, it's seen better days, but it looks quite solid. You're moving along the bridge, heading towards the door. Willoughby says, I hope someone brought the key. And that's when you see something really strange. You see coming up over the side of the bridge that you're on, this piece of masonry that looks like maybe it was taken from the bridge itself, but seemingly defying gravity. It loops up very slowly and then comes crashing down in the middle of the group where you are. It hits the ground, it cracks the bridge a little bit, it scatters rock everywhere. Everyone's kind of jumping all over the place, just kind of trying to get away from it. And that's when you hear a deep resounding roar that's soon echoed by another one and another one. And suddenly you find yourselves on this bridge. And I will give you a little bit of a look here at what it looks like. You find yourselves suddenly surrounded by 3 large rock trolls that come clambering over the side of the bridge where you are. 2 of them lob some more of these pieces of masonry that kind of fly in and erupt and crater around. Aelfrith right away will start yelling orders, telling people to get certain defensive points. You draw your weapons and you prepare to meet this particular threat. And that is when you hear a strident scream reverberating through the canyon below you. And as the rock trolls come in on you, and as you prepare to meet the rock trolls, you see coming from the sky, screaming, a sort of winged, dragon-like serpent, on the back of which rides a cloaked figure, the depths of the cowl completely hidden in darkness except for the eyes, which glow with a malevolent green. And this thing comes swooping up, the scream emanating from the beast that it's riding. And that, my friends, is where we will stop tonight. As this Nazgul approaches your position, and right now you're sitting there thinking Remember when Bleak told us earlier to relax, that he wasn't the kind of GM that went around killing players?
I thought
Can't
I
wait.
heard something like that.
No, see, I didn't hear that. I have selective hearing for the truth only.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
I'm just catching my breath.
Absolutely, Banner.
Hmm.
Uh,
We will see what happens. That's a good one, Bip. That's not as good.
Yeah.
We will see what happens next week. I will say, obviously, you know, it's not meant to be a TPK or anything like that, but could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. We'll see how you deal with this, as we went from pastoral, taking a little boat trip with a little bit of interpersonal conflict, to fucking Nazgul. But you know, it's how we roll in Middle Earth. The Nazgul show up when you least expect them. We'll find out next week. Thank you very much, everyone. You were all absolutely amazing. Your characters are wonderful. I certainly look forward to seeing a little bit more about them. I'm sorry for having to narrate the ending, but I did want to get to this kind of cliffhanger thing, so I kind of just had to take over there a little bit. So thank you for your patience and accepting that. We will be back next week with that, but for now, please, my friends, tell our wonderful viewers who you are, what you got going on, where they can find you, anything you want to let us know about of the wonderful work that you're doing. Same order as we did earlier. We will start with JT.
Hi, I'm JT. My pronouns are they, them. This evening I was silent. Any pronouns, a lovely little elven scholar. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Weebjeet. You can find me on Instagram at JT Hooven if you want. Otherwise, tomorrow you can find me on Live from the Apocalypse with the premiere of Season 2 of the Season of Secrets and Shadows. On Saturday, you can find me on RPGs Uncovered, playing a treacherous turn with Jack and a couple of good friends. On Sunday, you can find me on Lost Caravan playing Capers Cyberpunk, a new game that I think is currently in Kickstarter. Otherwise, it has other means of support acquisition. On Wednesday the 20th, I will be debuting as a GM on the High Shelf Collective, running beacons for them, a little series that I'm calling the Beacons of Farlight. It's going to be a sort of gross punk post-apocalyptic society. And then Sunday the 24th, this is the last thing I will advertise aside from me being here. You can find me on the Lost Caravan with Blair, returning with Season 2 of our Nova miniseries.
I keep hearing about this Nova thing. I think Kian was talking about it maybe last night or something.
Kian is also a part of it, yeah. It's very fun. We've got a lot of very depressed characters to come back to.
I love Kian. I'm playing with Kian in another game right now, and Kian's just fantastic. So
Kian is an utter delight, but that's me. That's all I got.
Thank you so much, JT. Was it your first? It'll be your first time GMing on stream. Is that what you said?
No, I've done some stuff on Lost Caravan, but that was just one shots. This is my first like long-term type beat. Longer.
Break a leg.
I plan on breaking multiple.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what Nazguls are for. Thanks so much, JT. Super appreciate your character. Thanks for taking time to come and play with us. And speaking of which, your partner in crime seems Blair, who's neither Canadian nor a moose.
I'm not. Hi, I'm Blair. I'm _Canadian Moose. Neither a Canadian nor moose. I need a t-shirt with that on it.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. I have been playing REA and I'm so excited to continue that. But yeah, my kind of home zone is High Shelf Collective. I am not next Friday I will be in we've had an ongoing Mass Effect campaign using Cyberpunk Red. Actually our GM and some of our players have created their own kind of like supplement thing, kind of changing Cyberpunk, or well, not changing, but like adding on to Cyberpunk Red rules to make a Mass Effect adventure. It's called Omega. So there's like a little PDF if you want to check that out. But yeah, we're coming to the end of that, but we've been on hiatus for a while, so coming back to that on Friday. And yeah, I'll hype up High Shelf Collective if you want to check it out. We got some cool stuff like what JT just said, and we got some Wild Sea, and we're about to start Die RPG. So a lot of really cool stuff, which is exciting, and should be some more stuff coming soon with that as well. And then of course here I'm looking at my calendar trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. But yeah, and then the 24th Nova, we have art now, so we can't die super fast, right? Because that's how that works. You get art and it like
I think it's
affects you.
still on the table.
Oh, shh. We're switching to a new system. We were playing Nova, and now we're switching to Mothership. And if you know anything
Oh
about
yeah,
Mothership,
Mothership's hardcore.
we're not safe. And then the 25th, I'll be playing on Lost Caravan again, Icon. So yeah, that's kind of the things that I've got going. This has been a delight. Thank you so much. I can't wait to
You've
come
been
back.
a delight. Thank you so
Oh,
much
thank you.
for being here and playing with us. So we appreciate it. Look forward to seeing what happens next week. And do please check out High Shelf Collective and all these wonderful games. Talented people doing awesome stuff. Annika, what do you got cooking?
Always got something. You can find me here on Thursdays, and then starting on the 29th, I will be joining the World of Darkness in La Nat Eterna. And I'm super excited about that. And then let's see, this weekend on the 16th, I'll be doing a one-shot in the world of Sentience, where we're going to be robots scamping around being robots. And then in October, I will be launching a series of one-shots to celebrate the successful funding of the Obojima Kickstarter, which is a Studio Ghibli Legend of Zelda setting for D&D 5e. So if you like either or both of those things, that's something to keep an eye on.
Nice.
Oh, and I am on all socials as Anine Wanders because that's easy, right?
Yeah. You know, it's your brand.
Yeah.
Gets
And
to-
then, sorry, the final note is that I was Jorah, a barding this evening, who is hoping to get back to family and maybe stay there.
So what happens? We'll see if Askaroth's still there, actually, by the time you get there.
Right?
You never know. You never know. I mean, Nazgul just showed up. Thanks so much, Annika. It's a pleasure to finally get to jam for you. I appreciate you being here, taking the time to do it. Finally, we get to the one calling from Vienna.
Hello.
Kay, what's up, Kay?
Hi. Not much. Just had a game. Very fun. I'm very happy to be here. So my name is Kay, or you can find me at Caden Cosmos on most things. I am here for the next few weeks. At this time, same bat channel. And then I'm also going to be in a game on Saturday, September 23rd at 9 o'clock on Wanderer's Haven, part of Miko, the OKSGM's Eastera world and series. So I'm very excited for that. I got a few other things down the pipe, but that's not till next month. So
We're not ready to talk about it yet.
are we not? I don't know.
We'll wait.
Okay.
Keep people in suspense.
Ooh, suspense.
Suspense. Thanks so much, Kay. Always thorough pleasure to have you in the game. I, of course, have been Bleakseason. You know me, I hang out here. I do stuff. My right-hand man here is Andy, producer extraordinaire. We have tons of good stuff coming, as always. Guild Superior. We do have, starting next Tuesday, we're taking a break on Greyhawk, and we're going to have a Pirate Borg, 3 weeks of Pirate Borg action by DM Yar Dave. who will be taking a bunch of hapless souls through some Pirate Borg action. As for me, myself, and I, you can find me next Wednesday on my channel, the Bleakseason, with Kian, who we were talking about earlier, and a couple of people from Live from the Apocalypse, who we're probably going to see in a minute here when we read them, playing Penny Dreadful, which we are 2 games into our 4-game series. It was great. There was great cliffhangers also last night. A lot of good stuff. Fantastic players. So please consider joining us for that. And right here next Thursday for part 2 of 4 of the Headless Cross with these amazing, amazing people, we are going to raid our good friends Live from the Apocalypse. So please hang out. Give them some good old-fashioned superior love when we get in there. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank my players for playing. I want to thank Andy for producing. Thank you so much, chat. We are out of here, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much.